He's there with the audio, but looks like we've got it back now. So, welcome to week 5 of the NFL contest show, the Circa Millions Picks Release Show. I am your host, Jesse Flynn, and we've got some action going with this college football parlay. Before we get into the picks of the Circa Millions, we're looking pretty good. We're going to need Minnesota to kick in some more points, I think. But we're sitting at 24 there. They've only got 10 in the Texas A&M Mississippi State game and 17 in Miami, Florida State. So we're looking good with the college football parlay. So hopefully you're following me on X and you got an opportunity to see this bet before the game started, because I posted this on X earlier this morning, so that you would be able to actually place the bet if you were going to join the stream and watch the end of the college football watch party. But you're here for the Circa Millions picks, and so am I. We're waiting on the top 5 release. And we've got the top 5 released right now. So let's just move right through this real quick. We've got the winners from the first quarter. We've got the 4 winners: Champ, Odd Couple, Scrimmy 67, and Renchi. Each went 17-3. They're getting $66,250. And then you had 13 entries that tied at 16-4. for $769.25 each. And then obviously the booby prize, 2-18 for C Webb, $25,000 for having the worst record in the first 4 weeks. We are in the second quarter now, 5 weeks, 5 through, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 5 weeks. There's 5 paid positions, $150,000 for first. So we're definitely hoping to continue our hot streak after going 5-0 in week 4. The Circa Survivor contest. We've got some action. This is week 4's results, but we've got some action heading into week 5, as they're predicting about 23% of the field was on the LA Rams, which is going to be catastrophic for about, they're predicting somewhere over 2,000 entries were eliminated. We'll find out here shortly when they release that. But so we've got some interesting action so far. Same thing with the Grandissimo. We had 3 eliminated last week, week 4, but we've got some action on that one too, as there's talks of a few people being on the Rams in this one. So can't wait to see when they release the selections for those 2 contests. But moving on to the Circa Millions, week 5's lines are up, and we've also got the top 5 selections. So let's go ahead and take a look at this real quick. We have the number 1 pick for week 5 of the Circa Millions is the Los Angeles Chargers, -2.5 at over 2,000 entries, 2018. No surprise there. Washington didn't look good last week. They've got Jaden Daniels back, but they're got some injuries on the offensive side of the ball still. Biggest one is Terry McLaurin. And then they've also got 1 or 2 guys out on the defense, and their defense just has not looked very good this year. So no surprise that laying less than a field goal, it's the most popular side with the Chargers. I actually was going to go with the Chargers, but my picks this week are mostly contrarian to the money. The sides that were getting the most money, I went contrarian on, I think, 4 out of my 5 picks. And then the 5th one was just one where I was going with the better team in an advantageous situation. So not surprised here with Los Angeles -2.5, though they were top 5 the last 2 weeks. Week 3, they were the number 1 pick, they covered. Week 4, they were the number 5 pick, they did not cover. Obviously lost straight up to the Giants. And now this week they are the number 1 pick again, going against the Washington Commanders at home. And there it is. Brett Colson, one of the members of the Gridiron Gamble podcast, had mentioned it earlier in the year, and I keep bringing it up. -2.5 is the most popular spread chosen in the history of the Circa Millions contest. It's the most widely chosen one because you're getting a team laying less than a field goal, and most people figure if the game's decided by 3, I want the side laying less than 3. So glad I got off the Chargers because I did not want to be in the top 5 for this exact reason. This never seems to be a good spot to be in. Number 2, the Detroit Lions. I had an ugly lineup with the Cincinnati Bengals as one of them, but I just couldn't get behind them, man. There's no way with how well the Lions have been historically with Jared Goff and Dan Campbell at covering the spread, that even 10 didn't seem like enough. Now, yes, Detroit has cluster injuries with their secondary. They're missing some guys up front on the defensive line, so it looks like they may not have their pass rush. Aiden Hutchinson's been playing out lights out, but they're at home, the Bengals. They do still have Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, 2 of the better wide receivers in the NFL, especially 1-2 punch. And the defense has teeth. I mean, they're healthy. I was looking at the injury report. That team as a whole is healthy. Like, they've got all their starters are still in the lineup. So now we're through that preseason part of the year where teams are going to start getting a little better. Their roles are going to be defined. And again, at home, Jake Browning might not play as bad as he played the Vikings and the Broncos, 2 of the better defenses. And the Vikings had all their players when they played. Now the Broncos, again, they're a really good defense. So not surprised he struggled in those 2 games. So I saw a way where the Cincinnati Bengals were the right side, but again, I just couldn't get in front of this freight train that is the Detroit Lions offense right now. So going to be rooting for the Bengals. I have no sides in this one. Again, glad I'm not in the top 10. But the next pick, the Seattle Seahawks, -3.5. I mean, they're playing the Bucs. The Bucs have some injuries. They got to travel all the way out to Seattle. Seattle has been playing very well. They have one of the more efficient offenses this year, and the defense has been playing well. There are some reservations about this one that I had. I went back and forth on this game because Mike McDonald does not do well against the spread at home. He's better on the road. And this could turn into a rock fight with Todd Bowles. So I'm kind of surprised because Tampa Bay was actually getting more money, at least at BetMGM. They're getting about 65% of the money. So it's kind of surprised not to see Tampa Bay here. But again, the travel, everything, so Seattle's the 3rd pick at 1,469. Number 5, the New York Jets, +2.5, getting 1,400 selections. Again, the Jets looked halfway decent against the Dolphins. They had some fumbling issues, really cost them a chance to win that game. For me, I was fine with it because I was on the Dolphins that was our 5th pick. That was the win that got us the 5-0 last week. So I was more than happy to see them struggling offensively. Kind of called that Justin Fields would be loose with the ball. But now people are seeing them going up against the Dallas Cowboys and their struggling defense, and they're willing to they're taking the 2.5. That's another one of these 2.5 lines. But this time they're taking the points with the home dog against a bad defense in Dallas. But man, Dak Prescott's been playing lights out. And I said it on Thursday that if I was going to take a side in this one, it would have been Dallas, just because of the offense, and that over his career, Justin Fields is 0-25 straight up when teams score more than 20 points. And I think Dallas can score more than 20 points against this New York Jets defense. So unless the Jets turn this into a dragged out, slow-paced, game where each team only gets 8 possessions of the ball, and they, chew up clock running the ball. Now, Dallas can be run against, but again, they can score. So can Dallas outscore this New York Jets defense, and can Justin Fields beat a team that scores more than 20 points? So the number 4 pick is the New York Jets plus 2.5, not on this one. And then the 5th and final pick is the Denver Broncos plus 3.5. Now, this is strange. I wasn't sure how this was going to go, even though the Philadelphia Eagles right now, according to the Action Network's luck rankings, are by far the luckiest team in the NFL. And the Denver Broncos have been one of the most unlucky teams in the NFL so far this year. And right now, with the luck rankings, it actually gives this particular pick an A grade for their luck rankings with Denver plus 3.5. But the line is actually showing 4.5. So I was kind of, it's moving around, but I was kind of shocked to see this many people on the Broncos, knowing that this is what you would call a stale line. You're getting the worst of the number according to the market. But again, Philadelphia is getting like 75% of the money. So kind of surprised, but this is a pros versus Joes, I guess, situation. And the Broncos are getting a lot of love with 1,340 selections. So those are our top 5. So let's go ahead and I'll give out what my 5 picks are for this week. Wrong way. So there's the parlay. We're still looking good on that one. So we've got halftime, 17 points, Miami and Florida State. So we are looking good when it comes to that. But so my first pick is the Indianapolis Colts -7. Now, this was the one game where I wasn't taking the side that was getting less money. There has been money coming in on the Raiders from some sharp bettors, from what I've heard through social media with some of these sports book managers. But you can only, you got to take that for what it is. But in this case, the Indianapolis Colts, they're the better team. They're at home. They really should have won that game against the Rams. The Raiders looked good against the Bears defense that was hobbled by injuries, especially along their defensive front. And that's the only reason why I think Austin Gentry and this offensive line was able to get the kind of yards that they were. This was a weakened Chicago Bears defense. That's not what they're going up against with this Indianapolis team. As a matter of fact, their best strength on defense is stopping the run. Geno Smith has played horrible all year. You can't trust him. Max Crosby's banged up, and they lost their left tackle, who the Raiders were averaging double the amount of yardage running behind him as they were the other side of the line. So they lost their best piece to their most successful part of their running game. They lost Myers. He's out for the game. And Brock Bowers is a game-time decision who hasn't practiced all week, hasn't looked good all year, and if he is out there, it's only because they're shorthanded, and he's probably not going to be very effective, to the point where I actually sat him on my fantasy football team for Schultz, just because I don't even know if he's going to play, and if he does, how much is he really going to give you? So I'm willing to lay the full 7 here with the Colts. I think this is a much better team than people are giving them credit for. Their offense ranks like in the top 5 in almost all the offensive statistical categories. So until they prove me wrong, I mean, yes, I was on the Rams last week and we got that win, but that was incredibly lucky. Not only was it incredibly lucky that they even won the game, but incredibly lucky that they actually ended up covering the spread. So I don't think the Colts are going to make those mistakes. I think they're going to be able to run the ball on this thin Raiders defense, and I'm willing to lay the 7 with Jones, Indiana Jones, and the Colts here, and hope they can get it done. I know it's probably going to be another one of those games where I got to sweat it right down to the end, but let's go. So our second pick in the Circa Millions. It's going to be the Denver Broncos. And I told you why earlier. This is a team that is getting less money than the Philadelphia Eagles, and I pretty much went contrarian with the other picks besides the Colts, going against teams that were getting more money according to BetMGM and some of the other sites that I was able to see. And this is that A-plus luck ranking game. So honestly, even though I knew I was getting the stale number here, I'm willing to go and take the Broncos, and hopefully they can knock off this Philadelphia Eagles team that's 4-0. They've won, I think, 20 of their last 21 games straight up, but they've just been so incredibly lucky, and they haven't really looked very competent on offense. They've been like less than 200 yards passing a game, and now they're going up against one of the better defenses, especially their secondary. They can rush the passer and stop the run. Yeah, I like the Broncos here. So for all those reasons, even though I know we're in the top 5 in this one, I'm willing to ride with the Broncos and Bo Nix. So my second selection for week 5 is the Broncos plus 3.5. Next up, another one of the top 5s. Again, like I said, I was surprised that Tampa Bay wasn't more popular as they're getting more money. People are seeing the 3.5. And I went back and forth on this myself, especially with Seattle's secondary injuries. And I know that Tampa Bay has some big wide receivers, Godwin and Agabuka, and Kate Otten, the tight end, that can body some of these DBs. But I'm thinking McDonald will be able to scheme up a good defensive plan. They're at home. Tampa's kind of banged up on offense. What are we going to get from Baker Mayfield? I know he's playing through some injuries right now. Will he make it through the end of the game? They're missing Bucky Irving, their number 1 running back. And even though I know Rachaad White's probably good for one game, Seattle, extra time to prepare. I'm willing to lay the 3.5 with them and hope. Sam Darnold's been playing awesome right now. And they, with their wide receivers, I know Cooper Kupp hasn't really been all that. I think they're getting their tight end back. Jamel Dean for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is also out. So one of their better pieces in the secondary, because Tampa's secondary has actually been playing quite well. It's their linebackers that they struggle. So you could maybe see some passes to the tight end and to the running backs in this game with Charbonnet and Walker III. But I think the Seattle's going to be able to get out to a lead in this game. And, you know, it's never easy in the NFL, but I'm willing to lay the 3.5. I know favorites this year have been pretty successful. I know favorites over 6 are like 16-3-1 straight up this year. So we'll see how it goes. But another pick in the top 5. It's the last pick in the top 5. But it's also a pick that is actually getting less money in the betting markets in Tampa Bay. So this was a contrarian to that side. And I'm willing to lay it with Sam Darnold and the Seahawks. So my third pick is the Seattle Seahawks minus 3.5. The fourth pick, I mentioned it on Thursday, and I stuck to my guns. I said unless something happened to Josh Allen between now and Sunday, the Buffalo Bills were going to make the card, and they are making the card. The New England Patriots, according to that BetMGM, were getting 68% of the money at +8. We're getting Buffalo at -7.5. It's 8.5 in most of the betting markets. So we are getting a better number right now than what the betting market is. We'll see where it closes. But I just think Buffalo is a much better team than New England. And yes, New England looked good last week. They looked good against the worst team, or the number 31 worst team in the NFL, the Carolina Panthers. They needed a touchdown from their special teams and another one that was essentially a touchdown. So now they also have injuries on the defensive front. One guy that was Chasel, I don't know, their defensive tackle for New England all of a sudden just is not going to the game. He's not flying or nothing. Williams has been injured all week. Those are their two key guys up front. Their two key free agent acquisitions. Their linebackers can't tackle. They keep missing tackles. They're missing one of their guys and on that level as well. Yes, they did just get Gonzalez back, but how good is he really? We don't know. They say he's going to be this awesome cornerback, but he's only played so many games. He got hurt his rookie year. Like, this guy's getting a lot more credit than we really know how good he's really going to be. And this Buffalo offense is just dynamic. You don't see anything like them. Now, Milano and Ed Oliver on defense for Buffalo are question marks, but if those two are also playing, that just gives them even more pieces to their defense. That hasn't been the best, but in this situation, I think the Buffalo offense is going to be scoring touchdowns and putting the pressure on New England, where they're going to have to maybe abandon their running game and have to throw the ball, and that's what they want, because the Buffalo Bills, they play a lot of like nickel, and they only rush 4. They don't blitz. They drop 7 into coverage, and if you're going to put New England into a pretty much throwing situation for most of the game, that just plays into Buffalo's defensive scheme, and it just gives you even more opportunities for turnovers, which their offense can turn into points. So I am going with Josh Allen playing in their all white iced out uniforms at home against a New England team I think is getting too much credit for one good game against a very bad team, and I rank Buffalo as the number 1 team in the NFL. So I think they're going to win. If you think a team's going to win, you have to believe they're going to cover. I think they're going to cover. So my 4th pick for Week 5 of the Circa Millions contest is the Buffalo Bills minus 7.5. So the 5th and final pick is the Jacksonville Jaguars plus 3.5. Another game I went back and forth on. The Kansas City Chiefs are by far getting the most money. It's nearly 80-20 money for the Chiefs than Jags. And this number is still sitting at 3.5. Why? Because the Kansas City Chiefs don't blow teams out. They do not blow teams out. Even when they win, other than like last week, they win by like 3 points or less, man. It doesn't, they're not really that team that's known for, being this offensive juggernaut. And you've got a Jacksonville Jaguars team that can run the ball. They've been running very well. ETN leads the league in yards against the Kansas City Chiefs defense that can be run against. And we're going to have to see some improvement by their receivers for Jacksonville with Brian Thomas's drops. And we're going to need to see some more from Travis Hunter, but I think they've got it in them. And this is a big game for Jacksonville. They're at home. It's in prime time. The teams that they've beaten so far this year haven't really been the stiffest of competition, while the Chiefs have played one of the more difficult schedules. So this is a real litmus test for the Jags to see where they actually stand. I think you're going to get their best foot forward. I like the 3.5. I believe this will be a low-scoring, tight game, and even if Jacksonville loses, I don't believe they're going to get blown out. So I think this could be a 3-point game, but I really think the Jags can pull off the upset. Although it's a home game for them, so is it really an upset? I know the Kansas City Chiefs have been the best team in the NFL, or they have been the best team in the NFL over the last few seasons, but all dynasties come to an end. And they played a wounded Baltimore team last week. So, you got to almost take that out of your mind, because that was a much tighter game until Lamar got hurt, and they were already shorthanded on defense, and they lost even more guys on defense during that game. So how much of that went into Kansas City's offensive explosion in that game, I'm not too sure. But Jacksonville's defense has been just lights out with turnovers. The Walker and Murray injuries do give me concern. But, again, Chiefs aren't really a big running team. So I think Jags defense can keep them in this one. If they're opportunistic on the turnovers, I think they can win this game. I think they need to win this game for themselves, for Liam Cohen, for the whole city of Jacksonville, for their ownership group. Like, this is the biggest game they've had in quite some time. And I know there's going to be stress on them and the Chiefs. This is just another game for them. But I think you're going to get the best version of Jacksonville. So my 5th and final pick is the Jacksonville Jaguars plus 3.5. And there you have it, folks. Those are my 5 picks for week 5 of the Circa Millions contest. We've got the Jacksonville Jaguars plus 3.5, the Buffalo Bills minus 7.5, the Seattle Seahawks minus 3.5, the third most popular pick in the contest, the Denver Broncos plus 3.5 on the road against Philadelphia, the number 5 most popular pick in the contest. And then the Indianapolis Colts minus 7 at home against the Las Vegas Raiders. And there you have it. So those are my 5 picks for week 5 of the NFL Circa Millions contest. I hope everybody will stick around to the end of the stream. We're going to take a break real quick, and then we're going to come back and watch the second half of the Miami Hurricanes, Florida State, and we're also going to finish sweating out our college football watch party parlay, which is looking really good right now. we are back. We are back. We are back. We are back. And it is the second half of the college football watch party with Miami, number 3, on the road, leading number 18, 14-3. And so far, we're looking pretty good. I mean, like I said, we're going to need this Ohio State-Minnesota game. We're going to need 10 points from Minnesota. We're going to need at least 10 points from Minnesota. They've got 3. We need a touchdown. They're 10. I don't know why they got that thing like glowing right in the middle of the numbers, but we got 10 and a half minutes left in the third quarter. They haven't scored any points to start the second half, so you know that over 41 and a half was looking real good in the second half, but we're needing some points here. You know, we need to be at least 31 points by the fourth quarter because we need 11 more to get over that. You know, right now where they're at, we need a touchdown. Big touchdown. And here we are, second half of Miami, Florida State. But so here we go. Oops, wrong one. So the Circa picks have been released. And we've given out our 5. 2 of our picks were in the top 10. The Broncos plus 3.5, 1,340, and there's 1,288. So there's 2,600 picks total on this game, and there's a difference of, what is this, 52 more for the Broncos, and this is a top 5, so that's nearly identical to the Eagles. So I'll tell you what, the sports books, they love this. This is actually what the spread is supposed to do. It's supposed to give you equal betting on both sides, so then they can just take their juice and make their profit and not have to worry about one team or another, you know, being an overwhelming betting favorite and then winning and not having the money to cover from the other side. But let's go ahead and look at this. Obviously, 49ers plus 8.5, 210 people only were willing to lay it with the Niners, and they went outright. Thursday Night Football is always the least chosen game, but for 210 people to get a point because they were bold enough not only to take the 49ers with all their injuries, but to put their other 4 picks in at the same time. Next game is the international game, Vikings and Browns. Vikings were a big favorite money-wise, but I just couldn't – I had the slide made up for the Browns plus 3.5, and I just couldn't do it because it's a rookie quarterback making his first start in an international game. If he was like Jackson Dart last week and was playing in Cleveland, I would have probably been all over it. Even with Flores's outstanding Vikings defense, we know the Vikings offensive line is just decimated by injuries right now. They lost another guy for the year. He's out for the year. And then their other guy, I think he might be out because he's got his second concussion in like back-to-back weeks. So that's scary when you're getting, because obviously he wasn't healed from the first one. He got banged right when he got into the game on the next one. But the Vikings, 1,155 to 931. So a little over 100, right? No, a little over 200 picks there. Difference, Vikings, Browns. But a lot of interest on the international game. And 931 people, I wonder how many of them are behind and they're trying to steal a point here with the 3.5. The fishing line. I call these the fishing line because 3.5, and I'm on some of them this week because there are limited choices. They're scary because you want to take the 3.5 you want to take the plus money because you know that games are decided by 3 more than any other number. But we also know that teams that win usually cover the spread. So do you think the Browns are going to win? You got to be bold enough to believe that if you're going to take them plus the 3.5. I absolutely hate when I hear people say that shit. I don't know if they'll win, but I think they'll stay within the number. Oh, shut up. You think they're going to cover? Tell me why you think they can win. Then I want to listen. But so, I'll definitely be watching this one. I'll be up early. 6 a.m. start time here on the West Coast or in the Pacific time zone. So I know I start this show late. It's 6 o'clock here, 9 o'clock on the East Coast. Sorry, but I like to wait until after the picks are released to reveal my picks. Otherwise, what's the hell the point of watching the show, right? If I just give them out on X, wouldn't really, why would you waste your time unless you just like hanging out? Be nice. Be nice. And subscribe if you are hanging out. Join in the stream here on YouTube. And we're here every Saturday with our 5 picks. Be sure to hit that like button. But so now, Dolphins, Panthers. Chuba Hubbard threw me off this game. I was willing to go with the Panthers even though they got boat raced by the Patriots last weekend. Again, you're never as bad as your worst game. You're never as good as your best game. They shut the Falcons out 30-0. They get handled, by the Patriots. So they're somewhere in between. But without Chuba Hubbard, I don't know how well this running game's going to operate. And that was what I was banking on because the Dolphins, we saw the Jets run on them last Monday. Turnovers for the Jets really killed them in that game. I mean, fumbling on the 1-yard line is brutal. When that happens, you just, all that positive momentum that they had, goes right down the drain, and the Dolphins gain it all. But the Dolphins losing Tyreek, I mean, they can manage. They've got other players. Waddle can move to the number 1 position. They do include Achane in the passing game quite a bit. Jonnu Smith, they like their tight ends in their offense anyway. So, I mean, they've got weapons. And look, another one. 860 to 853 the Hurricanes just scored. Slow down, boys. Slow down. A 40-yard touchdown, too. Like, those are killers. Like, if you have, like, a 15-play drive that chews up 8 minutes of clock and score a touchdown, that's one thing. But when you're hitting, they hit another big touchdown earlier in the passing game. Yeah, he, over the middle, he juked the guy, and boom. Touchdown, Hurricanes. We need them to slow down on the points here, man. We got the under 54.5 in our parlay, and all right, they got the extra point. They need to slow down. Slow down, because the other games are looking pretty good. Like I said, we need some points in this Ohio State-Minnesota game from the Gophers. But so, yeah, I couldn't get behind either one of these teams. But look at the number, 860 to 853. I mean, there's 7 selections difference. So how good of a line is that you're getting that equal of betting? That's incredible. I mean, the sports, the handicappers, the line originators, there aren't a lot of them. They know their shit, man. They know their shit. Not only do they understand the numbers aspect, they understand the human psychology of wagering and what they need to do to entice action on both sides. It's incredible. And now the Jets, top 5 team I just talked about playing the Dolphins, weren't as bad as the game final score may have indicated. They really had every opportunity to win that game, if not for turnovers. Penalties and turnovers are what killed them. They just couldn't get out of their own way. Even when Tyreek Hill went down, they just couldn't They couldn't get momentum going. Every time they did something that took it away. But now people are trying. They're saying, you know what? They're not as bad as their worst appearance either. And the Cowboys' defense is a sieve. They've been scored on by every team that they faced so far. But they did get a couple of guys back from injury. And last week was their first game. So now you're getting their second week back. They've played one game. They've had another week of practice. The two, Deron Bland and Diggs. So they're back. The Jets can run the ball. Are they willing to run more than throw with Justin Fields? I believe so. They lost Allen, though. And that hurts because he was a good complimentary back to can't think of his name now. Breece Hall. They were a good complimentary because Breece Hall really gets out around the outside and he catches the ball well in the screen game. And then you could bring in Allen as the power back, short yardage back, third down blocking back. So it does hurt their running game altogether. Still missing pieces in the second level of their defense. It was what got exposed by the Dolphins last week. Dak Prescott is playing at an actual MVP level. If it wasn't for how bad the defense has been, he's had to score all these points just to try to keep him in the game. I mean, the guy scores 40 points, they tie. You score 40 points in a game, you expect to win. Like, damn. So I've heard on a lot of shows from some of the handicappers that I like to follow, Stuckey from Action Network, some of the guys from Wager Talk, I think it was on the Wager Talk NFL show. I don't remember exactly who had the game, but a lot of people are saying the Jets are the right side. And we're seeing the public or the betting market, the selections here in Circa Millions on that side. So kind of glad. I did say I liked the Cowboys because of Dak Prescott's on Thursday, because of Dak Prescott's how the offense has been playing. George Pickens did take the number one role pretty well. Their tight ends playing well. Turbin's playing well. They're actually running the ball well. Javonte Williams has had like a resurgence in his career. It's all about their defense. And they've got Aubrey, who's like automatic from fucking 60 yards and in. He's actually my fantasy kicker, so I'm all for field goals by the Cowboys. But he's a weapon. When you know that you get like basically by the 50-yard line, you're at least in field goal range, that's a weapon. So, and the Jets, their kicker made some long kicks last week, but I don't know if he's got it in him every week. Shit, slow down. Now Florida State's moving the ball fast. Slow down. Flag, bring it back. Was there a flag? No. But so I don't have any action on this one, and I would have probably went with the Cowboys, so I'm kind of glad to see that they're the contrarian side, even though they've got close to 1,000 selections. Because, I don't mind rooting for Dak. I've got family in New York who are Jets fans, so let's see them lose. They're also Yankees fans, so I like when they have misery because they talk so much shit about the Yankees. All right, next up, Raiders at the Colts. This is one of my picks. This was the first pick. Colts -7. We're laying the 7 with the Colts. And we've got 1,125 to 950. So, again, I mean, fairly equal. I mean, there's not too much difference. 175 pick difference when you've got over 2,000. I mean, that's not bad. Another very fair line. I would have loved if they would have put it at 6.5. Damn, Miami scored again. Or no, did he intercept it? Yeah, he intercepted it. Good. Miami intercepted the ball in the end zone, so now they'll get a touchback, meaning, 3 turnovers to 0. Means they're going to not only stall out the Florida State offensive drive and all that time they wasted, but they're going to start at the 20. Beautiful. They didn't even get a return. The last one, the one interception they got there, they intercepted it in the red zone of Florida State, but he ran it all the way back to Miami's 40. And then they threw a bomb and scored a touchdown on the very next play. Quick change. Now they're all the way on their own 20. More time, more clock. All right. Texas A&M just scored, but that game is still pretty low. We're well below the 57.5. Yeah, that's 13-3, 14-3, 17 points with 3.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Again, we need points in Ohio State, Minnesota. And it looks like we might have gotten some. I'm seeing, did he just return that back all the way to the 20 for Ohio State? Yeah, looks like it. Or was that an interception? I don't know, but somehow Ohio State's got the ball inside their red zone. So we're looking maybe at another touchdown. Oh, they already got it. Damn. Tell what I'm paying attention to. It's 31. All right, we're looking good. Looking good. But yeah, I went over this, why I like the Colts, and why I don't like the Raiders. Their offensive line was already bad. Now they lost the best piece, the piece where they were getting their most efficient running. They lost one tight end in Myers, and it looks like Bowers, even if he does play, he's going to be hobbled, and how he hasn't been very effective all year. I think the Colts are going to be able to move the ball easily against this weak Raiders defense. Really, all you got to do is try to neutralize Max Crosby. They don't really have anybody else to be concerned with on that defense. This offensive line for the Colts is just really good, and I think you're going to see the best version of them after what happened to them in the Rams last week. So I know it's a big number, but again, if you think the team's going to cover the spread, you got to think they're going to win. So you're going to have to explain to me why you think the Raiders can win this game before I'd be willing to take them on this side. I'll go down with a better team. I'll go down with the Colts and the better offense, the more efficient offense, better defense, than trying to explain why I think the Raiders can win this game. Another pick of ours that's in the top 5, the Broncos plus 3.5. Again, like I said, there's only 52 selection difference in a 2,600 total selection. So, again, another incredibly efficient line here. And this was one of my contrarian picks against the money. Eagles were getting about 75% of the money. And when in that situation, I want to be on the side of the casino who wants the Eagles not to cover. Or wants the Broncos to at least stay within the number, because that would be very good for them. And they're normally right. So I'm going to go with the casinos, with the sports books on this one. And, there's every reason to think why the Broncos are going to win. I talked about the slow down, Miami. Damn, they are gashing Florida State all of a sudden. This is that A-graded luck game. Because the Eagles have been the luckiest team through 4 weeks, and the Broncos have been one of the most unlucky teams through the first 4 weeks. And when that happens, you have a very rare A-grade luck ranking. So all that together, Broncos plus 3.5 is one of my 5. Again, I mean, I know there's less games this week, so that's the reason why there are more games that are close together. But normally you don't get them like this tight. Like this tells you that there's a lot of question marks about this week's games, which there were. I flip-flopped on a bunch of them a few times. I didn't make my final choices till this morning when I tweeted that I had submitted my picks earlier about the show being on tonight. That's when I submitted them. It was after I wait as long as I can to get all the injury news, because so much comes out. The final most of the final injury report comes out on Saturday. You know who the key players are, if they're going to play, if they're not going to play, or if they're like a game time decision. And you can usually know what's going on by how they practice throughout the week. All right, come on, Florida State. Bow up here and keep them out of the end zone. At least hold them to a field goal attempt. But we've got another close matchup between the Giants and the Saints. It's only a 2-point spread, so not surprising, because basically win the game, cover the spread. Saints are still the favorite side, but by only a little more than 100. What is it? 163, 163 on a game that has 2,300, almost 2,400 selections. So super close. I really did. I mean, I kind of wanted to go with the Saints until they lost Cesar Ruiz, their offensive lineman, because that was about the best part of their game. Been hearing a lot of talk about potential trades from the Saints. I wouldn't mind seeing Alvin Kamara get traded. He's such a good player. I have him on my fantasy team, and the dude wants an opportunity to win a championship, and I don't think he's going to get that with the Saints over the next couple seasons. This is a difficult one because do you want to take the Giants? I had the Giants last week. Do you want to take them again in the second game of Jackson Dart's career on the road in New Orleans, missing Malik Neighbors? I mean, I think our offense is still capable, and their defense is good. So this is probably the right side. Giants +2, but it's just there's a lot of question marks about this game when you've got a rookie QB on the road in a hostile environment going up against a team that's banged up with a quarterback who's played okay, but he's not great. And they've looked like a low tier team. Like, do you really want to get involved in this game, or would you rather find, another side? So that's where I went with it. Because I couldn't come up with a good reason for either one to make one of these my top 5. But, I mean, look at this. Look at how close these picks are. Texans and Ravens. I kind of went with the Ravens at first. With the Texans at first. But, I know Cooper Rush can, he's not bad. He played some good games for Dallas. But this defense is really, really thin, and they lost even more players. Going up against a Texans offense that has not been good, but has played some difficult teams, and they do have capable pieces, at least in the passing game. C.J. Stroud and this offensive line, they need to put in all the time they can in pass protection, and he needs to – somebody was talking about they need to roll him out of the pocket. That sounds like a good idea. Put him on the move, let him use his legs, and, make the defense have to chase after the receivers, and I think he can throw the ball on the run fairly well, so, they got to do something. But so I don't know. I didn't know which way to go because for all I know, the Ravens offense could end up playing a hell of a game. They don't have Lamar, but they still have all their other pieces. Derrick Henry's gashed the Texans in the past. You could certainly see him do it again. Not having Lamar does change the dynamic of their offense, but if Cooper Rush starts completing some passes, all of a sudden they can't stack the box the way they would want to stop Derrick Henry, and they have to ease back with their linebackers and maybe not blitz as much. And you never know. Cooper Rush at home, could pull it off. If you don't think so, think about Thursday night. And we haven't gotten a survivor yet. I haven't even looked at the numbers to see how many people were on the Rams, but I said 2,387, so we'll see. And so I don't know anything. I couldn't figure this out. So that's why I didn't really have any. I didn't end up going with the Texans. And they're the contrarian side, but again, it's by 200 picks, so, we'll see. I'm glad I'm not on it. I can sit back and cheer for the Texans, I guess. All those Baltimore futures are basically go up in flames if they start out 1-4. Titans and Cardinals, just the icky game of the week. Another nasty one. Titans have just been terrible against the spread for the last 4 seasons. Historically bad. I had an ugly lineup drawn up that included them, and I couldn't do it. Even though it's probably the right side, the Titans +7.5 probably is the right side. What did we see the Carolina Panthers do against this Cardinals team? Come back in the fourth quarter, throwing the ball around, and got within the number. Could definitely happen again. The Titans are more than capable of putting up a good performance on defense against a Cardinals team that has not looked really good. Harrison Jr. has had some drop issues, although he's made big catches in the big moments. He's also had some drops on some ones where, could have really switched the overall outcome of the game for gamblers. Big number, 7.5. So you're essentially saying the Cardinals are going to win by 10 points, that they're going to win by double digits, or at least 9. It's always frightening when you're in those situations because you can see it coming, that they're up by 14 points or they're up by 13 points, and the other team has the ball driving down with an opportunity to score that to the other team is pretty much meaningless. They're just trying to kill the clock as much as possible, and every single gambler is just on the edge of their seat knowing that a score suddenly changes the outcome of the bet. So as much as I wanted to just do a completely ugly lineup with them and the Bengals, the Browns, I couldn't get to it. I couldn't find it in my heart to want to put those 5 in when I know I'll go down with good teams. If I'm backing a good team like the Colts or the Bills and they don't cover that big number, you know what? I thought they were going to win the game. If they win the game and they don't cover, that's part of sports betting. If they lose outright, congratulations to the other team. They pulled off a hell of an upset. So, yeah, this is a difficult one, and you can see it by the low numbers. I mean, they're not even over 800 on the Cardinals and less than 6 on the Titans. I mean, some of these games you've got more picks on one side than you do on the whole game combined. That just tells you that people wanted nothing to do with this game, and I completely understand. But I think the Titans are going to end up being one of those teams that has more ATS wins than straight up wins. They'll end up at like 7-9 ATS or 8-8 or whatever it is, 8-9 ATS, 9-8 ATS, but they'll be like fucking 2-15 straight up. Detroit Lions did that one year. They won 4 games that year, but they were like 13-3 against the spread. Buccaneers plus 3.5. I'm on the Seahawks minus 3.5. And I mean, there's nearly 1,000 on the Bucs, but there is a significant amount more on the Seahawks. So it puts me in a little bit of a predicament, although the top 5 in the Circa Millions contest has not been doing great against the spread. Last week, I believe they were 2-3, and that's probably the best one they've had so far. I know week 1 it was like 0-5. There was a 1-4 because the Chargers. Yeah, week 3 the Chargers were the only ones to cover. So yeah, being in the top 5, it always gives me concern. But I had 2 in the top 5 last week, and they were the 2 that won. So maybe we'll pull it off again because we've got 2 in the top 5 again. And I like it because the Buccaneers were getting like 65% of the money. So I know it's not a humongous difference, and I can see why people would like it. I mean, I did have the Buccaneers at first. I had the slide made up, had it put in, and I ended up swapping it because of the amount of money that was on the Buccaneers as opposed to the Seahawks. And I wanted to go contrarian against the money. Yeah, the Buccaneers have also been one of the luckiest teams this year. So at what point does that luck run out and they don't get the cover? I mean, they didn't cover last week against Philly when they were plus 3.5 at home. Now they're plus 3.5 on the road against a well-rested Seattle team. They played on Thursday Night Football on the road. But so, yep, this is one of ours, and it's in the top 5 along with the Broncos. Damn, I missed that touchdown. They got to slow down, man. Oh. They got to slow down, man. Miami's scoring too many points. They got to shut Florida State down and just stop scoring now. Run the clock out. We need Ohio State, Minnesota to get on it. Get over that number already. They're stuck at 31. Lions and Bengals. Lions, the number 2 selection this week. Not surprised. They've been covering at a ridiculous rate. Jared Goff and Dan Campbell have been money printing machines since they came together in Detroit. And now they're going up against this Bengals team, but I think the Bengals can get this done. I would like to with this different. This is look at that. Look at the difference in picks, 483 to 1680. So that's basically 1,200 more selections are on the Lions. The Bengals are at home. They've played the Vikings and the Broncos, 2 very good defenses. The Vikings still had all their pieces when they played, and they played the Broncos in Denver. Now they're playing at home. Jake Browning will play better at home. It's where he beat the Jags. They still have their offensive pieces. They can still move the ball through the air. And the Lions have injuries in their secondary. They've lost 2 cornerbacks, I believe. They've lost some defensive linemen. And this defense right here looks like they can be scored upon. Now, the Lions' offense is just outstanding. But if you look at the Bengals, one thing that just kept catching my eye was the injury report. You know, outside of Joe Burrow obviously being out, they are like one of the healthiest teams, man. All their guys are there. Like all their starter guys are there. So they're got to get a little bit better practicing and playing together every week because they're really good. Their offensive guys are really good. If their offensive line could just protect Jake Browning, which I believe they'll be able to do this week, they'll be able to move the ball. And 10 is a big number. 10's a big number. You've got to have a team that's consistently putting up double-digit wins to want to even back them. I mean, that's why I'm on Buffalo. Because when Buffalo wins, they normally win by double digits. So if I think they're going to beat the Patriots, I got to think they'll win by more than 7.5. There we go. Another touchdown by Ohio State. So what's that now? 34, 35 to 6, 37. If they kick the extra point, it'll be, 38? Man, we are treading close to that over 41.5. We are very close. Very, very close. But so this game, I just really wanted nothing to do with this. If I had, because I would have had to have taken the Bengals. And again, for everything I said, I could also see the Detroit Lions winning by 20 points. You know, I could just see them just turning the throttle all the way up, scoring at will, running the ball like crazy, and just putting points on the board, and the Bengals just not being able to match them. So I'm kind of surprised that we got as much action on this one, but I'm also happy that I'm not on it because now I can just root for the Bengals. I can root for the Bengals to cover because I'm not betting this game. So I can just root for them and just hope for chaos. Because I doubt the Lions are going to be big in Survivor because, again, they're another holiday team, so people like to save them. But when you have a double-digit favorite, it's also tempting to use them. Commanders, only 522 to 2018. Again, I had the Chargers minus 2.5 slide, and I took them out because of this. Because the Chargers were getting so much more money than Washington. And their offensive line has had trouble protecting Herbert. And the Commanders do have pieces on offense. I know they don't have McLaurin, but it's not like that's the only way they can score. Getting Jaden Daniels back gives them another dynamic on offense where he can use his legs to gain first downs and keep drives alive. So I could certainly see the Commanders pulling off the upset. And knowing that the Chargers were getting that much money, I didn't expect it to be the number 1 pick. I actually didn't expect it to be in the top 5. I thought it would be in the top 10. Makes me happy that I got away from it because now, again, I can root for the Commanders. I can root for chaos because I don't have any side in this one. And if I end up doing anything with this game, it'll have to do with the total. which is where is it? It's down here. The total for what? The total for this game is 46.5 to 47.5. I'd probably take the under. I'll take the under and hope that both teams' defenses, Quinn's defense and Harbaugh's defense, play a smash mouth game running the ball. Next up, Patriots at Bills. This is another game where I wanted to go contrarian with a good team because the Patriots were getting more money, and that was at a bigger line than this. That was at +8. The line is anywhere from +8 to +8.5, so you're getting a little bit of line value with the Bills right now. We'll see where it actually closes at on Sunday, but it's also contrarian in the contest. Again, people don't like laying big numbers. But the Buffalo Bills, when they win by margin. And I saw that although they're not double digits, they've been double digits favorites the last 2 weeks. And had they been double digits again this week, it would have been 3 weeks in a row. No team has ever not covered the third game after being a favorite of double digits in the first two. So I expect the Buffalo Bills to just come out and really turn on their offense and lay it on them. And now the Patriots, looks like they might be missing. They're missing one of their key defensive linemen right now. And one of them, the other one, Williams, was on the injury report all week, didn't practice. So even if he plays, how effective is he really going to be? And now their defense, their linebackers have been really bad at tackling. I mean, last week's game against the Panthers is the outlier. But now you're going up against Josh Allen, James Cook. The offensive line for this Bills team is one of the best in the league. Their tight ends, they're scheming up their tight ends to get them involved in the blocking for the run game. And when they're passing, they're slipping them out because it looks just like the run plays. And then they're slipping out behind the linebackers, and Josh Allen's tearing them up. I think this Bills offense is just too much, man. They're the best team in football right now, and I'm going to go down swinging with the MVP and the best team in football, getting a good number and being contrarian against the public. So, yep, Buffalo Bills at less than 1,000, 873, about 200 less than the Patriots. At home, Highmark Stadium. This is I think the last year, right? They're going to have their new stadium next season. So, you can't let the Patriots come into your house and beat you in their final game in Highmark Stadium. You gotta smash them. Josh Allen's gonna come out ready to go. I believe it. Sunday Night Football, man, it's gonna be awesome. The final game and our last pick is the Chiefs and Jaguars. I got the Jags +3.5. The Chiefs were getting a ridiculous amount of the money, like almost 78 to 80%. And they don't beat teams by margin, man. That's just not how they are. Everybody saw them play the Ravens last week, and obviously that was a great win for them. But they were playing against the shell of their defense. And then they lost Lamar, and that's when the game really got blown open. So take that for what it is. I know the Jags have not looked completely in sync with each other on offense. Their defense has been playing great, getting turnovers left and right. I don't really think they're going to get 3 like they did in their 4 games, but I think they might get 1 or 2 because we know Patrick Mahomes, he will put the ball in harm's way. He does have turnover-worthy throws, at least 1 or 2 per game. They just got to capitalize now. Trayvon Walker's got that big cast on his wrist. Looked like he was practicing because he just had surgery, so he might play, but it's going to be hard playing with that big club on your arm. Obviously, it's going to be hard to try to catch any balls if they come his way. And then Murray in their secondary might be out. So that does give me a little bit of concern because the Chiefs are actually getting healthy. But with the amount of money that was on the Chiefs side, again, this is that going with the sports book, contrarian against the public or the money in general, and taking the points at 3.5 with the home team, because I think Jacksonville can win this game. They beat San Francisco on the road. Yes, they were injured, and they haven't really played the hardest schedule this year, but I think they're only going to get better the longer they're in this Liam Cohen system. And if they could stop dropping the damn ball and committing penalties at the wrong time, I mean, they could certainly win this game. But I did flip-flop on this game. I originally had the Chiefs minus 3.5. But when I saw the amount of money that was going in on the Chiefs, I said, nope, I need to go against them. No, I could get burned. But we'll see. We will find out tomorrow. Those are the selections for Week 5 of the Circa Millions contest. And now, let's go to the Survivor. I haven't even looked yet. Ooh! Oh my goodness. 3,524 entries. Eliminated 40%. What does that say? I can't. Is that 28 or 38? It looks like 28. No, it's got to be more. I guess it is. 28% of the field eliminated on Thursday Night Football. Unbelievable. I got to post something. Wow, I said 23, so I said basically 2,400, but man, the top pick. And I could see why. Because I mean, you know how many players were out for the 49ers, and they were at home. 8.5-point favorites. Damn. I mean, damn. That is horrendous, man. Whew. I mean, there's some podcasts that talk about the Survivor contest quite a bit, and yeah, they got their shows on tonight. I'm sure they're in chaos right now. Damn, slow down, Texas A&M. These games are so one-sided, though, that the unders are looking really good still. Hang on one second. Something to drink. But the second, number 2 pick, that was the one everybody was predicting to be number 1. They were saying the Cardinals were going to be number 1. But they're number 2, not far behind the Rams with 3,152. No surprises there. Let me see, what did we have any? Look, 5 no picks. Better than 24, I guess. Did we have anybody who was bold enough to go with the 49ers? No. Nobody was crazy enough to go with San Francisco. So all those people just wiped out. This was 12,400 from last week. There are going to be some very sad faces and some very concerned faces going into this Sunday and Monday, because I'm sure they had multiple entries. If they had multiple entries in the contest, which a lot of people do, they had multiple entries on the Rams, and they might still have a few left on these other teams. And now those are the only entries they have left. Yeah, that That is the most. That is the most picks eliminated by one team this year. I'm pretty sure of that, because we only had 6,400 entries. I think had been eliminated through the first 4 weeks. And you got half of that in one game. Man, I got eliminated. I would have been eliminated week 1. So like I said, I'm not good at these Survivor contests. I need to pay more attention to strategy in these ones, because I would like to try it. I mean, it's fucking life-changing money if you win. Even if you split, like last year's Chop, I think everybody still got over $2 million. So, yeah, that's I win that money. I posted it on X. I said I want to be on Barstool Sports Advisors. If I win the Circa Millions, I'm gonna go to Chicago with my check, the big giant check, and I'm gonna try to get on the show. If I could get to 1,000 subscribers, I could unlock some features that might actually get me noticed one day. I mean, I've had success. Goddamn, I went 5-0 last week. I mean, I'd love to be able to unlock some of these features on the YouTube stream that I'm not able to use because I don't have enough subscribers. You have to have 1,000. So the Cardinals, I mean, taking on the Titans. So no surprise there that they would be that popular of a team. Damn, this thing keeps going out. I keep talking. But could we see the upset by Tennessee? I doubt it. Their offenses look just completely inept. They're supposedly getting back one of their running backs. I think it's Tajay Spears, who's been out with injury. How much that's really going to affect the team, I have no idea. But it's just, football is such a fluky game. And we know how turnovers are unpredictable. You have one of those games where the Titans cause a couple of fumbles or some shit like that, or their defense scores some points, or their special teams score some points. You can very easily have an upset. I mean, look at that Rams game. The Rams should have been winning that game 21-20 had the fucking field goal kicker not doinked it off the upright. That completely changes the dynamic of that game, because the final field goal wins it. Even if the 49ers go down and kick the field goal, the Rams go down and kick the field goal to go to overtime, they need that point. They win the game. Just that simple. Just a play just like that. Something that's supposed to be automatic in the NFL. The extra point. I still say it's probably the biggest effective change they've made in like the last 30 years was moving that extra point kick back. That shit was like automatic before. Then the Colts next up at 24-08. So a lot of people think the Colts are going to win, which I'm one of them. But like I was saying earlier, if you think they're going to win the game, you got to think they're going to cover the spread. Because teams that win the game usually cover the spread. I think the Colts are going to do it. So I like that pick. And I don't think they're on the holiday games either. I'll have to look at the schedule and really get an idea of who's playing. I got it on the it's in the Gambling Parlor opening and closing sequence. I'll have to look at that poster. Buffalo, another pick of mine. I'm laying the 7.5. The Bills just have to win. But again, if you think the Bills are going to, well, we got the Lions. If you think the Bills are going to win like I do, then I got to think they're going to cover the spread. Lions, obviously a big 10-point favorite, but that's also a team that plays on Thanksgiving and Christmas. So I know a lot of people who are strategizing that expect to be around that late in the contest are keeping them so they can use them on one of the holiday games, because right now with the way the Lions are playing, it definitely looks like a smart play to save them for one of the holiday weekends at least. All right, slow down, Florida State. We still need points in this Minnesota-Ohio State game. Like I said, they're down there close. I need them. Touchdown would be great here, Ohio State. No surprise here with the Lions, though, that they're at least one of the popular teams because, again, 10-point favorite. They should win the game. Vikings playing a rookie quarterback on his first in his first game in an international game, and this is their second week there, even though their entire offensive line is basically gone. Get in there. Push him into the end zone. Damn. Come on. We're looking good on the other two. We just need this over 41.5 to get locked in. And then we'll just be having to make sure these other two games just stay defensive games. Don't get kooky with the points at the end of the game. But this is bold. I mean, I can understand why you would go with the Vikings, though. I mean, their defense is still good. They're missing Van Ginkel, but all in all, they're still pretty healthy. And, I mean, okay, the offensive line is, if they don't score a touchdown and they kick a field goal, that's going to be 41, and I'm going to be fucking down by the hook. And he just did not he didn't get any yards. He got stopped a yard in the backfield. 2nd and goal. Come on. But the Vikings, I mean, even though it's Carson Wentz and their offensive line's banged up, I mean, these guys they're bringing in at a backups are professional football players. Yes, they're going against Myles Garrett, who's like one of the better defensive ends. And here we go. Get in there. Touchdown. Give it to him. Give it to him. Nice. That's the over 41.5 we needed in Ohio State. We got one leg down, one leg in the books for our college watch party parlay, which was at plus 596. It's basically 6-1. Now we just need Miami and Florida State and Mississippi State, Texas A&M to stay under, which they're looking okay right now. And we'll be cashing our ticket. Seahawks. Only 155, but again, that's a team I'm on this weekend at minus 3.5 at home against the Bucks. Let me see. Do we have any Buccaneers backers here? I don't see any. Nope. It's just like the Lions. There's no Bengals. The Bills. No Patriots. Vikings. There's 5 people on the Browns. 5 people versus 352. Seahawks, no Bucks. And so, they should win. They're at home. They're well rested. That's one thing that does kind of concern me, though. I know you say that, they're well rested, but they're okay. They called him down, and he just scored there. Okay, now we're over. That's 44. Officially over now. They called him down on the last play, so 3rd down and goal. They got it in there. Sweet. That's one leg. We need the other 2. Slow down, Texas A&M. Slow down. But Seahawks, when you have that extra time, sometimes you can lose that momentum that you've been playing well with. I mean, they looked good on Thursday night for 3 quarters. And then in the 4th quarter against Kyler Murray, their defense looked off, and the penalties kind of hurt them. They are missing two of their starting defensive backs, Love and I think Witherspoon. So that does kind of bother me. That was another reason why I kind of liked the Bucks at first, because I know they've got these big body receivers that might be able to muscle these defensive backs for the Seahawks. But hopefully McDonald has a good game plan, and the 12th man comes out and Baker gets beat up, and they're missing Bucky Irving, because I'm on the Saints. I'm on the Seahawks, I mean. Saints with 99 and the Giants with 22. So not a lot of picks on this game, but if the Giants somehow pull off the win in New Orleans, it's 77 more entries that will be eliminated than would if the Giants lose. I'm not on anything on this game, so that'll be a pleasure to watch. I know the game itself won't be, but never know, though. It could be an entertaining game. You never know. The running backs for the Saints, Kamara and I think it's Miller, Kendry Miller, they've got like the most broken yardage after broken tackles in the NFL. So we could maybe see some good scoring in that game. All right, come on, Miami. Keep them out of the end zone. I mean, I know we're in good shape, but there's still 10 and a half minutes to go in that game. Anything can happen in that one. The clock's running on the Mississippi-Texas A&M game. We're in good shape on that one, but we need no more points, man. No more points. Okay, get him, Miami. And he throws it over. Did he hit the ground? Oh, that was close. Quarterback threw it across the field, and man, he had to trap it on the ground. It was the tight end looked like he had it, but no, boink, hit the ground. Chargers, the number one pick in the Circa Millions contest, a team that I originally had on the had as one of my selections, but I took it off because of how much money they're getting over the Washington Commanders. It's minus 2.5, and that's that 2.5 number that's so popular in the contest, and it's like the bait, because you're laying less than a touchdown. Don't let him run it in. Do not let him run it in. Ah, son of a bitch. Touchdown, Florida State. Damn. They'll probably go for 2 because they're down. Yeah, they're going to go for 2. It looks like the offense is staying on the field, so. Man, there's a lot of time left in this game. Oh, no. Pass interference on Miami. So whether they're going to get half the distance to the goal on this 2-point try. I don't think that ball was catchable, man. That thing was like way over his head. Well, we got 65 on the Chargers and 3 on the Commanders. Again, I'm not on it, so I'm going to be rooting for the Commanders in that game because there's a hell of a lot more people on the Chargers. There's actually over 2,000 selections on the Chargers. No, did he get it? He did get it. And they're calling a horse collar, so that'll give him a penalty on a kickoff. or face mask. So we're looking at 39, and we need under 54 and a half. Slow down, boys. It's getting close. The penalty's going to mess them up on the kick return. We got the Cowboys. And I see 32 on the Cowboys and only 5 on the Jets. And the Jets are getting 2.5. So either they think the Cowboys are going to win straight up, or they think it's going to end with 2. That the Jets are going to win by 2 or less. I doubt that. So they got to think the Cowboys are going to win. There's more on the Cowboys than there are on the Jets. We'll see. The Jets were one of the top 5 picks. So I get to root for the Cowboys. Philadelphia Eagles, 28. Nobody on the Broncos. I am on the Broncos, plus 3.5. Interesting that you don't have anyone using the Broncos. I'm kind of surprised at that there's not at least one Broncos selection. I am on the Broncos. I'm glad that there's so few on the Eagles, but it does concern me that everybody's going with Philly and nobody thinks Broncos because it's plus 3.5. So either you think Philly's going to win by 3, or you would have to think the Broncos are going to win the game. Chiefs 23. No Jags. I'm on the Jags plus the 3.5. Another one where my side doesn't have any selections in the Chiefs or in the Survivor. Hopefully I'm right, because I did swap out the Chiefs for the Jags. I originally had the Chiefs minus the 3.5. I had the slide in here and everything. And I swapped it out. But the Chiefs are getting like 80% of the money. So I went contrarian against how much money is being bet on one side. The Giants, 22. And that's right, we said the Saints. Texans, not a single entry on the Ravens. They probably already used the Ravens. If they did, they probably got eliminated. But, yeah. No Lamar. Nobody's believing in the Baltimore. You got 21 people trying to sneak into week 6 with Houston in their very inept offense. Great defense against Cooper Rush, Derrick Henry and the boys. Dolphins 17, Panthers 11. That's about the closest one. Only 6 difference between these two. So somebody's going to be disappointed after tomorrow's game. That's still brutal. The Rams, still brutal. Browns, we talked about that with the Vikings. Jets, we talked about that. With the Cowboys, Commanders, yep, we know they're playing the Chargers. 65-3. And the big one, this could be devastating. 1 on the Titans, 3,152 on the Cardinals. Cam Ward and the Tennessee Titans go into Arizona and pull off the upset and just completely obliterate this Survivor field. And then the Raiders with 1 against my Colts that I'm laying 7 with, 2,408. Another one that would just be devastating because every one of these has people with multiple entries on it, and they've already lost, I'm sure, some, at least one. There you have it. That's the Week 5 selections for Circa Survivor. And already, I mean, look at this, 2,109 already, just with the one Thursday night football game. The number one selection, 3,524 selections were eliminated. Wow. All right, I haven't looked at this one either, but this is the Grandissimo. And look at that. 15 of the 58 selections were on the Rams. Or 55, I'm sorry. That's right. There was 3 eliminated last week. 55 selections. They're down to 40. This is the $100,000 buy-in. Winner takes all. $6.9 million to the winner. 15 entries already out. Wow. Talk about getting equity. Look at this. The entry now is worth $172,500. And you're not even done with the week yet. You've got 20 on the Cardinals. Again, if the Titans are somehow able to pull off the win, same thing as in the $1,000 entry Survivor. Just catastrophic to the people in that contest, because I don't know if this one has multiples. If people have more than one entry in the Grandissimo, I haven't looked at the PDF to see the team names. I need to do that. See how many actually have more than one. But if they're not on the Rams, they're probably on the Cardinals, and that just means it would be even more carnage. And we got the Lions. No surprise there, even though they are one of the teams that plays the holiday weeks. So to use them this early in the season really messes with strategy long term. Colts with 5, Bills with 4, Vikings with 1. I'm on the Colts and the Bills, laying the 7 with the Colts, laying 7.5 with the Bills. So hopefully they win and cover. But boy, oh boy. That 15 entries, that is $1.5 million worth of entry fees. Right down the tubes from the Rams losing that game. And just for those who may not know, had the Rams kicked that field goal instead of going for it on 4th down and that game finishes in a tie, it's a loss for both sides. So there were no San Francisco entries, obviously, on either contest. But the Rams would have still lost had they tied that game. All right, Miami, don't score a stupid turnover touchdown here. I'm worried now. All right, at least Florida State got out from away from the end zone. The fact that they got to go all the way from inside the 5-yard line, we're sitting at 38. We got under 54.5. In order for them to score, unless Miami just completely blows coverage, it's going to take a lot of time off the clock. And then they're going to have to go for an onside kick. Get him. Look, another completion and another first down and out of bounds. Only 11, 12 yards, so it wasn't a big gain. Now they're moving the ball out from at least where if they try to go for it on 4th down, Miami doesn't just punch it in for a touchdown in one play. Because they're down 17 points, 3 scores. This is 4-down territory all the way to the end of the game. Running play, I like that. Chew the clock. Incompletions, stop the clock. So keep that clock moving. Keep that clock moving. But man, that Rams loss. Whoo-wee. Man, oh man. That is just something. Man. So that is, what is it? Let me go back real quick. At $1,000, so that's $3.524 million worth of entry fees that just got knocked out in this contest by the Rams. And then in the Grandissimo, $1.5 million wiped out by the Rams on Thursday Night Football. Man, there are some very unhappy people going into Sunday, I gotta say. Very unhappy people. But we are looking good on our parlay. We are looking good right now. Man, that's brutal. Mm, mm, mm. Mm, brutal. I'm just looking at this, and it's like, man, 3,524 people on that Thursday night game. Damn, damn, damn. But we will be live streaming Monday night after the Monday Night Football game between the Chiefs and the Jags. We are on the Jags plus the 3.5. So hopefully that is the game that gets us to 5-0. We are sitting currently 11-9, 5-0 last week. The Rams were fucking so lucky. I mean, but sometimes you need that luck. I mean, I also had the Broncos when they got that leverage penalty on a 60-yard missed field goal. So I was owed one. Shit, I was on the Bears last year when they threw that Hail Mary against Washington. I was on Chicago. And Chicago got outplayed that whole game, took the lead at the end. But every once in a while, you got to be on the winning side. You can't always be on the losing side. Damn, that was close. Florida State throwing it deep, but incomplete. Slow it down. Nice catch. I mean, Florida State's moving the ball, but they're also chewing up clock, so they're at the 40. Hopefully they don't throw a deep shot again. Oh, Miami looks like they're coming with pressure. Man. 15 entries. Whew. I mean, you can't blame them, though. Plus 8.5. All right, false start on Florida State. Or was it on Miami? Touching them. Delay a game on Miami? Were they trying to make them... Were they making noise or something? Trying to call out the snap count? So that dude's a real track athlete. 400-meter outdoors, and he was smoking them. Get him, Miami. Yep, out of bounds. 3rd and 5. Yeah. Ohio State's already got one. We got one in the books. The Texas A&M Mississippi State game is well under the total and getting close to being over. We need Miami's defense to keep Florida State out of the end zone and burn as much clock as possible in the process. I mean, it's clearly 4-down territory. They're 3rd and 5. So they've got two plays to try to get the first down. Here we go, Miami. Get him. Nice. At least he got to the quarterback. Incomplete. He almost sacked him, and he just got rid of the ball. So 4th and 5. Come on. We're getting close to cashing that parlay. This is always when it gets the worst, though. doing shit like that and, either fumbles the ball or the defense intercepts it, runs it back for a touchdown, and it's a cheap 7 points. A fourth down. And Miami, if they get the ball back, will be in no rush to score. Only rushing 3. And they're going to run the quarterback. And he got the first down. Damn. There's that track star speed. All right. Good for you, Texas A&M. Instead of going out of bounds smartly, wisely, drops down on the first down. And Mississippi State has no more timeouts, so they should be able to just kneel it out now. All right, good play by Miami secondary, breaking that play up. No flags. 5:07 on the clock. Yep. Texas A&M is just kneeling it out, so we've got two in the books. Because that's 30. It's 31-9, so it's only 40. Well under that 57.5 that they had the number at. I didn't think it was going to be this lopsided of a game. I thought it would be a more defensive game. But Mississippi State's offense just couldn't do nothing. All right, come on, Miami. Get him. Damn. Oh, out of bounds. Or incomplete. Over his wide receiver. He was open, too. That would have been a big gain. They would have been down by the end zone. Maybe even scored a touchdown, because I don't know if that defensive back was going to make the tackle. If he throws that lower, where the receiver doesn't have to try to jump up to get it, that's probably a touchdown. One more kneel down, and this game's over for Texas A&M. All right, come on, get him, sack him. Shit. Well, short gain though to the running back, so another fourth down with even more time off the clock. All right, there we go. We got 2 legs in the book. 2 legs in the book. 2 legs in the book. Let's cash this parlay. Come on. Baby, come on. Baby, come on. All right, we'll just leave that up there till the end. All right, got to get him. Got to get him. Don't let him run. Oh, they got another first down. Shit. Shit. I mean, the clock's still running. We're at 4 minutes basically now. Oh, man, another fourth down. Miami using a timeout here. 4:01 on the clock. 1st and 10 at the 11-yard line. We've got 38 points in this game. And we've got under 54.5. Come on. And what would it be? Let's just say they get the 8. That'd be 19. I mean, it was 4.5, I think is what it closed at. Somewhere around there, between 3.5, 4.5 Miami, minus Miami. So still be covering the spread. But we need them to just shut them down. Shut them down. And they got to go for touchdowns. So it's 4 downs all the way through. He's taking off running again. Yeah, that's all they're doing. They're just letting them drop all their guys in coverage and then letting the quarterback run. All right, 3:30 though. Clock's ticking because they keep running the ball. Don't let him run. Ah, man, Florida State scores. Let's see if they're going to go for two again. Let's see if they're going to get it. Then we got the onside kick coming. Quarterback's probably just going to run the ball again. They've only been rushing 4. There he goes. Did he get it? Not only do they, it's 3.5 minutes and 3 timeouts for Florida State. Yeah, that's a catch. Oh, that was close. That was close, folks. And we still need him to get some first downs to run out this clock. Because, again, Florida State's got all 3 timeouts. You've got the 2-minute timeout. And it's, what do we got? 37-47. So an 8-point play would put it at 55. And there's the first time out from Florida State. Come on, Miami. Oh, tipped pass, man. So not only does it stop the clock, but it saves them a timeout. Oh, you're giving me a heartache. Get there. Damn. Third and short. I mean, fourth and short. Now they use their second timeout. 3:04 on the clock. They're inside of Florida State territory, so, I mean, it makes sense to go for it because if you get this, you essentially win the game. They're going to go for the field goal. Oh, they're calling a timeout. Or Florida State did. This will be gross if somehow Florida State gets this ball back. Uh-oh, what happened? Looks like he got it, but where they lined up in the neutral zone? It's either they're lined up in the neutral zone or there was an illegal formation. All right, so first automatic first down on the penalty to Miami. Huge play for us. Mm. That was big. It looked like he would have had the first down anyway, but man, that's big. Looks like Miami will remain undefeated. I don't know. I mean, we're still not out of the woods yet, though. They actually need another first down, really. Another good play by the. Was it what happened? Oh, he was down. Another good play by the Florida State defense. They're going to use their last timeout. Second down. I mean, even if Florida State was to get the ball back, it would be like, I don't know, somewhere around a minute, minute 10. Because they have one timeout left. So, like, on the fourth down, they'll let it run all the way down if they get that far and call timeout. So they're going to basically waste every second of the play clock here. Hmm. gain for Miami. I mean, they're obviously just running the ball. Third down. So now we're going to hit the 2-minute timeout. And they can waste like, call it 45 seconds total between the play and the clock. Then the other play will be another 5. So maybe 1:10, a minute 10. Yeah. We're not out of the woods just yet, folks. Next Thursday night, right here on YouTube, we'll be live streaming during the New York Giants, and when they're at home against the Philadelphia Eagles, Thursday night football. Obviously Philly undefeated right now. I have the Broncos, so I'm hoping that they get their first loss. Obviously they've got a division rival coming up on Thursday night, and the New York Giants are on the road against the Saints. Saints are the favorite as far as the Circa Millions was concerned, not by a lot. So I'll probably be rooting for the Giants. Not only that, but you have 99 entries in Survivor on the Giants and only 22 on the Saints. So if the Saints were to actually win that game against the Giants, if the Giants were to win that game against the Saints, it would knock out an extra 77 Survivor entries. I mean, they've already had the largest loss this season, Thursday Night Football. 3,524 entries eliminated by the Rams. 15 in the Grandissimo. That was $1.5 million in the Grandissimo worth of entries fees, and in Survivor is $3.524 million in entry fees eliminated before we even got to Sunday. I think it says 28%, almost 30% of the entire field was eliminated, and we still have games to go. It's never easy in football, is it? We've gotten through the Texas A&M. We've gotten through the Ohio State legs of our parlay. But, of course, we're sitting here sweating out Miami and Florida State in a game where Florida State mathematically probably has no shot of winning. But if they score and they get the 2-point conversion, it's going to go over 54. Miami has the ball, looked like it was still 3rd and 10, 3rd and 12, because they lost yards on the one play. At the 2-minute warning, we're looking at roughly a minute and 10 seconds that Florida State's going to have to try to move the ball down and score a touchdown. No timeouts. I don't know. I don't like it. They've gotten the last two-point conversions. Florida State's Miami's in field goal range. They could kick a field goal. That doesn't do anything for us, though. Here we go. Get that first down. Now he stayed in bounds. That actually screws us if they do kick the field goal. Snapped it. What the fuck was that? Why didn't he call timeout? Did he call timeout? All right. I mean, they didn't kick the field goal. That's good for us, but I would have at least thought he would call the timeout, and I guess they wanted to try to catch him off guard. I mean, if it was there, he scores a touchdown. Yeah, he's running into the end zone maybe if he catches that ball. So, all right, here we go. I mean, they got that timeout that maybe they can get their defense some rest if they're tired here, but need a stop by Miami's defense. Let's get a turnover, strip sack, interception, something. All right, a short pass, no gain. Out of bounds, so it stops the clock. It looked like he was going backwards, though, man. They need to start that clock. All right, 2nd and 10. Let's go defense. Come on, make a play. Got him. Oh, he juked. Oh, don't give him a penalty. Oh my God, they're gonna give him a 15-yard penalty. You idiot! Why'd you jump on him when he was sliding? Come on, man. And then why? Because you're a college kid. That's why, and you're a fucking idiot. Oh my God. I mean, that's a pretty soft call, but dude, he's sliding. Leave him alone. Get him. Oh, and then these two run into each other. You have to wonder if they'll do the two-score thing where if they get in field goal range, they kick the field goal and try to go for the onside kick. Yeah, why don't you wrap up? This is intentional grounding. Oh my God, don't let him score a touchdown. Kick a field goal, go for the touchdown. Jeez. Not only does he tip it, but then two guys just trying to strip the ball instead of tackling. Jesus. Yep. Field goal. It's the right play because you need two scores. So They've got to get the onside kick, but you need this. So they score again, but it's a field goal this time. Now there's 20 seconds left in the game. They need the onside kick. If they don't get it, game's over. If they do get it, they need a Hail Mary or something ridiculous play to happen because they got to still score a touchdown. So we are in an advantageous position right now since they did the right strategical thing and kicked the field goal. What the clock was stopped. It was in short range, but it was going to take too much time to try to score the touchdown there. You'd have had no time for the onside kick, no time for the field goal attempt if you get the onside kick. Now, the last time they did the onside kick, it wasn't the cleanest recovery by Miami, so they need to be sharp on this hands team here. Remember, who's the blockers and who's the catchers? Got it. Miami's got it. That's game. And the parlay is going to win, ladies and gentlemen. We cashed it. Whoo, that was a sweat. Damn, that was a sweat. They got me nervous over here. Man, it seemed like a lock earlier. They weren't scoring any points. And then all of a sudden, here it comes. We end up at 50. But now we're one knee away. One knee away. Florida State guys are upset. But, you know, this is a rivalry game. A lot of these guys played in high school together. If they didn't play together, they played in the same division. Played against each other. There it is. It's official. Well, that's the end of the game, folks. I want to thank everybody for joining me in this live stream. It's been a fun stream. Obviously, cashing the parlay is a hell of a fun way to finish it. And you know, we've got our 5 picks for the Circa Millions contest. The NFL contest show, part of the stream, is available on YouTube. If you missed the earlier, it's about 30 minutes. If you missed it earlier. But other than that, I hope you followed along and got the college football watch party parlay. If you're not following me on X, I released it on X before the game started, since the stream started after the beginning of the games. So you follow me on X at Dead Money Sports. That's a 6-1 winner. Let's hope we can keep this heater going and all the way through tomorrow. Well, hopefully everybody out there cash some winners, and have a good night.